Hi guys, just wanted to come here and unload some thoughts that I've had in my head for quite a while. So my last video, I talked about the Super Bowl and how the idea had been floated by Corey Asprey. He had mentioned to someone called Forrest Frank the idea of a Christian / family friendly Super Bowl halftime show alternative. So that's next year, 2026. And I said, I think it's time. It's about right. I don't think it's going to be the corny Christian alternative like some people have gotten used to. I think it's the right time and culture for something like that to happen. I said it's likely to be better. It might even do better in terms of ratings and people wanting to pay attention. The day after that, excuse my throat, maybe about 5 days ago, I continued, my wife and I, reading through the New Testament at the moment on a Bible reading plan, and we read Matthew 13, and it had a parable which, to me, it instantly spoke about what I think is happening. And it's the parable of the weeds and the wheat, or if you're familiar with the old King James language, it's the tares and the wheat. And I have the Bible in front of me, but it's Matthew 13. It starts in verse 14, but 24, but I'll just summarize it. And Jesus explains it a bit later, but verse 24, he says the kingdom of heaven is like the wheat that was sowed in a field, and that's obviously that's what farmers do. They sow, notification. They sow wheat in a field, and then the next day his servants or his workers came to him and said, "Hey, there's weeds that have been sown in the field," or tares. Again, old King James language that some people are familiar with. But there were weeds in the field, and they said, "Didn't you sow wheat last night?" And he said, "An enemy has done this." So overnight, he'd come in and he'd throw in weeds, and then the weeds had started to grow. And his servants said, "Should we take out the weeds?" And the owner said, "No, because you might damage what's meant to be there. You might damage the wheat." And he said, "Let them all grow together, and then at the end, take them out." Now, I think that speaks about what is happening in the culture right now. You're seeing a manifestation and more of a growth, and towards the end of the growth of certain aspects of culture, the seeds that took root a long time ago and in some ways didn't seem that bad. We're really seeing, I'm getting all these crypto updates on my phone. Markets are going up and down. All right. We're seeing the manifestation of things that were sown a long time ago. Yeah, it might not have looked that bad, but eventually it's like they're growing to fruition. Now, Jesus interprets and gives the meaning of the story, and I know he says the harvest is the end of the age, and it is ultimately talking about the final judgment, but I believe that there are layers in parables, and they can speak to elements of society in other ways, and that's what I believe it speaks of here. So for the Super Bowl, I have watched probably most in the last 10 to 12 years, not all of them. I remember Black Eyed Peas being interesting because of a sound system meltdown, and who knows, almost the conspiracy theorist side of me sort of felt like they're set up because the performance was good, but the sound was so bad. I remember being with a friend and watching Katy Perry's performance. I believe she gave a great performance. Didn't like everything that I saw, but that was that. I had vague memories of, for example, Beyonce's performance. Yeah, I sort of had to look away most of the time. That is what it is. And I guess to a large degree, a lot of people have just tolerated that. They thought, okay, yeah, great singer, I understand, I get it. And I mean, even The Weeknd, like, I'm going to say I actually enjoyed The Weeknd's performance, for example. He's very charismatic, amazing singer, amazing ability to connect with the microphone. I still have memories of that, for example. But there's a pretty dark undertones in a lot of his music, I'm just saying. So even I'm going to say I did enjoy The Weeknd's performance, for example. It's just one that comes to mind right now. A few however many years ago, 3-4 years ago or something. I particularly enjoyed Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Kendrick Lamar and even Eminem's performance at the Super Bowl. Again, that's just an admission for a Christian that is making YouTube videos. There's elements of it I really enjoyed. The skill in rapping, connecting with such a large crowd. Yes, you can look at the lyrics and I'm like, I don't like that, but I still enjoyed the performance. Just saying. I did not like Snoop Dogg's performance at the Australian AFL halftime show. That was a level of evil upwards. They even had words like you know, the naked, where he stops himself, but you hear the backing track say specialize in getting the girls naked or something stupid like that for Australian kids watching their favorite sport. It's not my favorite sport, but it's a lot of people's favorite sport. So anyway, maybe you can see where I'm going with this. Bad Bunny performing at next year's Super Bowl, I believe, represents a manifestation of the weeds in society, and it's going to become more apparent. And I think to a degree, it just had to grow together, because there was good amongst it. If you try and rip out the weeds straight away, you can damage the wheat, just like that parable. But at this point in time, there is a lot of manifestations in society that you look at it, like your average person that might not even say, I believe in God, or I'm a Christian or whatever. They look at society and they think that's not right. And there are plenty of examples. I mean, teaching transgenderism to primary school kids is just one example. Like, I'm just so sorry if you think that's right, but well, I'm not really sorry, but the average Joe will look at that and think that's not right. You're putting confusion in kids' minds. So we're going to see a distinction, and I guess the message is which side are you going to be on? And again, the Super Bowl performance that I think hope comes together, this family-friendly Christian alternative. Get behind it. There might be some politics, there definitely will be some politics which gets in the way, and people will have this and that to say about it. There'll be Christians boycotting it because there's certain things they don't like. It's not going to be worse than who is currently going to be at the Super Bowl. And I guess that's the main thought. Just watch what plays out. It's an interesting thing that's happening. So sometimes you're just going to have to switch off. So if there's a weed manifesting, don't even go and check it out. Like, I would not watch that Bad Bunny performance, just for example. But it's a microcosm. It's a large example, but it's a microcosm of many things that are going to happen in society. You're just going to have to choose which side you're on, and I hope you choose God's side. All right, that's all my thoughts for now. And thanks for listening to me ramble for a little bit. If you like this, please do the like thing. Put a comment. I would love to hear from you, even if you disagree with what I'm saying. And if you want me to talk on any particular topic in the future, put that comment in, please. I would love it. I appreciate it. So thanks for watching this on Rumble. Thanks for watching this on YouTube. And I'll see you in the next one. All right.